Hey guys, what's happening? It's been a pretty big day for EA Sports and FIFA 13 news, so I thought I'd give you a rundown of the breakdowns, the new features, the news, and also give you my own personal reactions on things going on. Let me know in the comment section below, of course, what you think yourselves and what you hope to see further announced down the road. So the first thing up, I suppose, is the skill games that's been brought in. It's kind of replacing the arena in terms of learning skills and practicing them and so on. It looks a bit better. It's from the right camera angle, which I'm delighted about, to be honest. And it definitely beats the whole being given a centre back when you want to practice your 5-star skill moves. So very happy to see that. It'll kind of teach people how to use the different mechanics of the game, so it'll be great for beginners. And it'll teach you some of the quirks and intricacies of the system as well. So really good to see. It looks really interesting. Plus there's a football tennis game which looks really, really cool. I'm really happy to see that, and I may play more of it than FIFA depending on how the online irritates me. There's a couple of different sections. I mean, there's 32 games across 8 sections, like penalties, ground passing, lobbed passing, shooting, free kicks, all that kind of good jazz that you can think of. And then there's different tiers with their own restrictions as well. So bronze to gold, they'll have their own limits, they'll have their own restrictions and limits and things like that. So they might throw in more defenders, they might make you use manual, ooh, dreaded manual, huh? Or they might give you less attempts. So this is really interesting. It might win over a few more manual players. It might show the current automatic passers what it's like to play on manual, so massive respect to those players. And of course it might tell you that, yeah, it's so much easier to one-touch ping-pong pass on auto. I think I'll stick with that. Now, of course, EA is always going to say that the ping-pong passing is out of the game, but we all know it isn't. So time will tell. Now, as I said, people will probably forget some of these things once they enter a game, so penalties will still go straight down the centre, passes will still be one touch, and so on and so forth, and lobbed balls will of course be over the top to someone like Eto. But, you know, you can't win them all, I suppose. You can only put these things in the game and see what people make of them. Now, what I'm curious about myself, and I've asked the guys at FIFASoccerBlog who put together a really, really comprehensive FIFA 13 preview, is what way does this work in local multiplayer? So I like having friends over, and of course the Ultimate FIFA Adventures thrived on the fact that there were 4 of us here. So how will it work? Will we all engage in the skill games? Will it be one person controlling it? You know, the goalkeeper versus striker approach was limited to 2 and it wasn't great, let's be honest. And the other thing I'm curious about is, will the arena actually take longer? So it's supposed to be before matches, and if you're given 30 seconds on the clock, that's 30 seconds before you're guaranteed a game. So we'll have to see on that front as well. Now, the other thing they were talking about a lot was the career mode, and there's a Q&A session tonight with the producer, so if you're on Twitter from 8 PM UK, the hashtag FIFA13career will get you all the answers you need to know, and if you want to ask any questions now, use that hashtag immediately and see if you get your response. I'll do a video tomorrow picking out some of the highlights, and if anyone focused on the gameplay aspect, I might be able to drift into that because I've had hands-on game time with it, so I'll answer any questions that I can. Now, the first thing to say from the screenshots is I really want to call myself Mr. EA Sports Manager. Sounds like such a great title. The interesting thing is they've brought in the ability to manage international and club level at the same time. Of course, it'll have its own challenges, and the schedule could run at the same time, so you'll have your own deadlines for selection, but hopefully nothing as dramatic as players refusing to play. Thank you, Stephen Ireland. Nothing like making up stories or even leaving the training camp during a World Cup period. Hopefully not, anyway. There'll also be in-game updates, so audio from other games will come through from Alan McAnally and Jeff Shreves as well. Now, the one question that's on my mind, and I'm sure is on everyone else's mind, is where's Chris Kamara?
There's been a red card, but for who, Chris Kamara?
I don't know, Jeff, has there? I must have missed that. Red card?
Chris!
And on the other side of things as well, there is no player manager mode, which is a pity because I was hoping to use that next year. I know a lot of people were asking me to do a manager mode series as opposed to the player mode, but there's kind of mixed opinions on that. I was going to think of doing that this year when my contract is up with PSG. In the Be a Player mode, which I'm delighted about obviously because of the current series I'm doing, there's some welcome and incredibly necessary updates, to be honest. I mean, you've seen me have troubles with fatigue and then being rested for matches and things like that, which is utterly ridiculous. So you will be subbed if you're playing badly or if you're tired, thankfully, and finally injured, because that's happened a couple of times. And you won't be just dropped into the starting squad instantly, which is fantastic. I want that kind of realism. I want to have to work for my place as opposed to just being a case of, we want you to be a starting 11 player in 2 seasons' time, but we're going to start you every match anyway until you're lying down dead. The other thing that's interesting, there will be objectives based on your season, but sometimes they'll drift in with batches of matches as well. Batches of matches. What a phrase. But anyway, as I said, so it might take it in 4 matches and you might have to rack up a certain number of goals. It will obviously depend on the quality of opposition you play against. And then finally, if you are annoyed with how your team is treating you, you can go for a transfer or loan request so you can finally get out of that hellhole. So that's it from me, guys, for today. I'll come back tomorrow with another one, and I'll try and bring out an Inside O'Byrne's Mind tomorrow as well, which of course is my player mode series. I just spotted there, my video went up on Machinima Sports, Rise of the Champions episode 6. If you could check it out, it'd be brilliant. If you have any questions, please put them in the comment section below. Definitely check out Twitter tonight, because that is going to be really, really interesting, and it's good to get that breakdown. And I will talk to you very soon, guys. Thanks very much for checking out the video.